Hey, what's going on, guys? Evolutionary here, back with another Natal reading. And today, I'm gonna be reading somebody with like Mars, Saturn, and like Earth type energy. That's what I'm feeling. I pulled some tarot cards. I was like, oh, what kind of energy should I read? And then it was like, I think I still have them on the bottom of the deck. I was trying to remember, but it was crazy because it came out like all Earth energy. And we do have a Earth trine going on right now with that Moon conjunction Pluto in Capricorn, and trining Uranus, Jupiter, and the Moon, and Venus in Virgo. Yeah, it was like these cards came out, and like I don't know, I just like thought of it like as a timidness kind of energy based off of these cards. And I was like looking at their faces of like a timidly peering off into something, and like that kind of like Mars Saturn archetype of like wanting to go do something, but then having to be like no, wait. So it's like a type of energy, like you know. But yeah, and they got it to where like you can look it up on the website. They got it to where like you can look it up as like aspects and like different planets or whatever, I think. So yeah, we're gonna look at that. Sun and Moon, planetary placement, chart patterns, advanced search. I'll bet. We'll do Mars and what Earth sign? We'll do Mars in Virgo. And we'll do Saturn in Pisces. We went through that transit earlier this year. I'm trying to recall that time. That's all I'll do. Frank Grillo. Yeah, we'll do him. I don't know who that is, but oh, we don't know his rising sign. Alright, whatever, I'll still do him. Ooh, Saturn conjuncting Chiron in Pisces. Bro, I was just talking about this earlier today. Oh, what the fuck? Bro. Okay, so I went to like a NCGR meeting. It's called like National Geocosmic Research Group, and it's in like kind of close to my area. It's like a little bit of like 30-minute drive from where I stay. But they're doing a lecture on Chiron, and like tapping into your own Chiron, and like dealing with your wounds and like healing and things like that. You know, all Chiron type themes. And then the lady that was giving the lecture, she had example charts, and this Saturn conjunct Pisces opposite Uranus, Pluto, and Mars, like transit was like a chart she used like from one of her clients. The client didn't have like all this energy in Gemini. They had it in Aries, and then their moon was in I think their moon was in Sagittarius. Yeah. So this is crazy, bro. Like this energy is like, it wants me to break it down. And then too, yeah, I was gonna say that North Node in Gemini opposite it, because that person had a Sagittarius rising moon in the first house. But anyways, I thought that's kind of cool. Like this energy came back just right now. Damn. But anyways, we're gonna get into this reading. All right. You know, whenever I was talking about it earlier, that Saturn conjunct Chiron, I was saying that it could be like self-imposed limits placed upon like the imagination and things, and like the like how far one goes with the imagination is limited due to fears of getting hurt by it, or due to probably through expressing the imagination as like a child or something, the person that has this placement would get like met with like people enforcing a type of reality that is not conducive to the imagination that the child is trying to present. So it'd be like a child has like a big dream about like, I don't know, like having like a kind of business or something. Maybe not even a business, but like having a big kind of like grandiose dream. Oh, I'm gonna go to the moon, whatever like kids say, or like the kid is like, yeah, I'm gonna go live with the unicorns in the swamp, and then there's gonna be some type of Saturnian adult, probably like a father figure, or whoever plays that Saturn role in the child's life, which would be like, you can't go live in the swamp with a unicorn. Oh, we gotta pay all these bills and all. This isn't the real world you're talking about, and things like that. But then also too, with that Neptune trying to Saturn and Chiron, probably the types of like emotional connection that is made to whatever type of imagination is like used as like a healing type mechanism. But in that same breath, you could say that it could be used as like a type of escapism as well, like escaping into feelings, you know. And then I feel too that Saturn trine Neptune is like, everybody has the ability to manifest off of their feelings, right? That's just like a nature that we all have as spirits, as people, right? But with that Saturn trine to Neptune, it's like a sense of the way in which you like bring in your imagination into your routines, patterns, your the way you structure yourself. The way you structure yourself, your routines, basically the same thing. But like there's a sense of like bleeding into each other. So like whatever like fixated imagination or fixated emotion that is being utilized to explore as an imagination, like taints or paints the experiences had through the routines, through the ways of experiencing like social structures. And by social structures I mean like the ways in which conversations are engaged. Like I was about to start getting into like the way in which conversations are engaged, as in terms of like, oh, I better not talk about this because it might lead to like these types of roads and I don't want the conversation to go over there, so it's that kind of like looking at the blueprint of what you're presenting, and like seeing that if you start building in this way, then it might lead to some problems like later on down the line. But if you start building in this way, okay, these problems that might arise ain't too harsh for you to handle, or you're more comfortable with whatever comes with the conversations that you're building in this way. So it'd be that same kind of concept with like the routines and things like that. Like it could be like routines that are made to comfort the feelings and imaginations of that Neptune and Scorpio. Sorry if I sound a little nasally right now. My nose is a little stuffy. But yeah, how I'm talking about how it could like be healing as well, because if there are beneficial routines and like spiritual type practices that are put into place, the benefits could be manifested like probably easier than if somebody had like no aspects between Neptune and Saturn, just due to the fact of how I was saying before, the imagination and the routines are so like tied together. Like there's a sense of understanding between the Pisces energy and the Scorpio energy, like psychic understanding, as to where like the Pisces energy, all it has to do is connect to something, and then the Neptune can automatically root itself and start pushing out imaginations from that rooted awareness, right? So if that spiritual type routines and connections are made with the daily life, then that could facilitate a sense of nurturance to that Chiron in Pisces, because it would play out like a reconnection to that authoritarian, like Saturnian type of restrictions. Not, it wouldn't be restrictions based upon reality. I say reality as in terms of like they wouldn't be restrictions like shadow government type restrictions, right? They wouldn't be like, oh, you have to pay your bills, oh, you have to do X, Y, and Z, like for like because this is just the way the world works, right? Which I mean, like, you gotta pay your bills, like, right? Like, we're not like dismissing that, but it's more so like the fact of like knowing that there's a time and place for everything, right? So in rekindling that like type of disciplinarian type energy and like making it in a way that actually nurtures the imagination and the feelings would be very helpful to that Chiron, because it would say like, oh, I can explore my imagination, it's just I have to do it in the right areas of life, you could say. Which I mean, like, right and wrong, like, that would be up to this person, you know? But yeah, bruh, I like that. Let's look at something else. Excuse me. And that Jupiter, Mercury, North Node, Sun, and Venus is in Cancer, but Jupiter, Mercury, North Node, and Sun conjunction, that gives me very like studenty vibes. Like, this person was here to like share something. I'm getting share like a intellectual understanding of the different ways, the different ways that the imagination could be utilized. Yeah, with all that energy I was talking about with that Saturn and Neptune, that person is like kindling for themselves, and then that Saturn Chiron conjunction square to that Jupiter, Mercury, North Node, Sun, in Gemini, is like pushing out all that creative juices that person would have with that Neptune and Saturn trine, in a way that conveys that message to like anybody and everybody. Because of that Mercury Jupiter conjunction, it's like the person's brain works in like a philosophical type of understanding. So the way that they would speak would be very broad, and but see, this is where it comes into like having like even more so of that dual energy of the Gemini, because as they're speaking broadly, they're able to give a whole bunch of different facts that they had come across and accumulated through their life of interacting with people and conveying their own dreams, and just being like a relayer of information, really. And through that like relaying of information and like building their character based upon the information that they relay, that they have accumulated and like personally been through, is like their path in life, really. And then with all that Uranus, Pluto, and Mars conjunction in Virgo square to making a T square with all that energy. And this is a really like potent chart. Like, it's very concentrated. But yeah, that Uranus, Mars, and Pluto conjunction. Ooh, dude. This dude probably got like some deep anger issues, bro. Some deep anger issues. Oh. It might be a case of this person, although they had like that active imagination that probably got squandered on, smushed down as a child, the person or the authorities that were doing that squishing down, smashing of the dreams, were probably delusional as well. Like, probably like had like some type of traumas that they were dealing with that they didn't know how to deal with, and then they took out that type of anger on the kid. Or maybe they were like addicted to drugs, alcohol, You could be addicted to anything. Like, you could be addicted to sex. You could be addicted to, like, basically just the authorities that were in place that were squandering his dream also had issues of escapism. It's crazy how similar we are to our parents, and a lot of people chalk it up to, like, well, I don't want to say everybody is similar to their parents, but a lot of people, or some people are, right? And a lot of people that are lost into the physical will just chalk it up to, like, oh, the kid picks up on how the adult acts and they mimic that, they act like that as well, when, like, there probably is some truth to that, right? But it goes way deeper than that, based on an energetic level. Like, with the authorities in their life, the parents or whoever raised them, having, like, having that Saturn in Pisces, they would be, like, of the delusional type, and this person is here to kind of formulate and fix that energy into a more grounded, like, spiritual type nature, in the sense of having a kind of balance with it. And of course he's a Libra moon. But yeah, so, like, really, like, the kid that comes to the parents is like an energetic match to the parents, like, state of being, to where they was at whenever they had the kid, or that, like, 9 months encapsulation time, but yeah, that with that excuse me, that Saturn, Chiron, and Pisces opposite the Mars, Pluto, and Uranus and Virgo, there's probably, like, this person that has this chart probably has, like, deep issues with anger. And, like, when I say deep issues with anger, it could be, like, repressed anger, but also because that's what Pluto and Mars deal with whenever they're conjunct or contact in a certain way. Because Mars deals with, like, what you want to, how you, like, move in the world, how you push yourself to move in the world, like, what makes you move in the world. And basically your sense of placing yourself somewhere, like, I should be here because I am this. Those are Martian words. Those are, like, war type words, just due to the fact of, like, it's like that conquering type of energy. You want to be in a specific space, so you're gonna do what you can do and everything you can do to get into that space. And then when that meets Pluto, your deep desires, when Mars dies, so you got to think of, like, a warrior on the deathbed. The warrior, like, I was about to say doesn't want to die, just for, like, but not doesn't want to die because they're, like, scared, right? They're a warrior, they take on anything, but doesn't want to die because they want to keep fighting. So it's like that straw that breaks the camel's back type of energy. Like, a person that has done so much for so long, and they're on the last little string of the braided rope. Like, the rope is, like, coming apart. It's like all that tension placed upon that last string. It's like, oh fuck, it could break at any minute. Like, that's Pluto when it's intense. That's Pluto when it's like just holding on to so much, right? So whenever that's contacting Mars, like, that that anger and aggression and wanting to place yourself into a place is riding on that one last string on the braided rope. So it's like, right? And once that thing pops, all that energy, it just comes out and it's, like, loose. You can say, like, it falls, right? So it's like the buildup of things. That's Mars and Pluto, a buildup of that, like, raw, primal, like, fight or flight type of energy. And then when that contacts Uranus represents, like, lightning, flashes of insight, wanting to be very fast, wanting to be innovative, wanting to like, switch up just to switch up, wanting to initiate something new. So whenever something, like, he gets to, like, I see, like a bull. Whenever the bull sees red, it just goes. That's what I'm getting with this. Like once he sees like a glimmer of something shiny off in the distance, boom, he's gone. He wants to go explore. He wants to go see what that's all about. Cause that flash of insight, that shiny thing off in the distance, it ignites that fight or flight energy within him, or like that primal like urge to go like and like be like, "Ooh, what's going on over there?" You know. Because with it being in Virgo as well, it's like that natural curiosity type of energy, and even more so with all those planets in Gemini, like wanting this person really wants to know what's going on in that little glimmer off in the distance, you know. And then too, how it could also play out, it could be whenever how we're talking about routines with that Pisces Scorpio trine, the Saturn, Chiron, and Neptune, as they're building like their routines and things like that, even if they started out in the lower octave of energies, so they would build routines that would keep them in their lower octaves, and like in a connected to like negative type of emotion and feelings, and like would just want to stay in there, not wanting to change that. If they're putting their energy into routines based upon that, then whenever the disruption happens with Uranus being in Virgo, the disruption of the routines, because Virgo is also deals with routines, and like the things you do to upkeep your lifestyle, because though the lifestyle routines that are in place for this person are going to change a lot with Uranus being in Virgo. And also like their health is very much correlated to how often they switch things up, and like really finding what's right for them as a person. Like this person probably does have like a very like eccentric type of diet, probably like in all levels, not just physically, mentally and emotionally as well. Probably into like, where's the yeah, probably into some weird stuff for real with that Uranus sextile to Venus. So it'd be like this person has a lot of time. I know I didn't get into like the Virgo energy and like the Martian about like disrupting the routines, but I guess I got sidetracked a little bit. I'll come back to it. But that Venus and Uranus sextile, that's like he has opportunities to use his love natures and use his types of his ways of compromising and like connecting, and like through like words, and also through like the senses, like because Venus deals with like how I said before, like compromising and things like that, and that could be made through words, that could be made through body language, that could be made through shit, even like on some telekinesis type, like some real what's the, I want to say inference type of, I don't think that's the word I'm looking for though, like implied types of ways, and like suggestive type behavior. That's as Venus. So whenever that context sextiles the Uranus, it's like it's giving that type of relating and like connection energy to things that are unusual, to things that are new, to things that are it's funny that I'm saying two things when it's like this person is relating to something, two things. Like he's given his relating natures to like things that are eccentric and like very out there, nurturing his own individuality. That's that Venus sextile to Uranus. And also getting back to that Virgo and Uranus, it ties into that Cancer too. Oh, he got kind of a kite going on. That Virgo energy opposite Pisces, it'd be like the restrictions placed upon him made him that much more angry, and probably through that anger there was like many opportunities for him to like find people that would relate to that type of anger he had, and really like build upon that. And if it's that playing out in those negative energies like I was talking about, it would be like I see like having a bunch of delinquent type friends that all egg each other on into more delinquency delinquency, if that's a word. Basically, just having like a bad batch of friends, so to say. He would probably be like uh, he would be like a dude that wouldn't stop talking within that friend group, but also he would be very nurturing as well with that Venus in Cancer. Yeah, and then that T square going on with the Jupiter. You see all them planets in Gemini, Pisces, and Virgo. I'm not about to name them off again, but with that T square going on, like a lot of faith is needed. With the Sagittarius being the empty house, and like having trust in one's visions is needed. Damn, I wish we had the ascendant, because that would really tell us where that that extra energy needed to be where it would needed to be placed. The empty house in the square. Excuse me. It could be a thing that this person goes through, that they too are too related into the physical, or put too much emphasis on the physical. And by that I mean like give too much credence to the words spoken by people, or like the facts that are placed behind them. I know that sounds kind of like dumb to say, because like we live in this world, but it's like there has to be a balance between like what you trust and what you give attention to, like in your inside you and outside you as well. And like placing too much energy on the outside and appeasing to that would be disrespectful to your internal, which would lead you to not trust your own inner visions. That empty part of the wheel being Sagittarius, and which would be like more of the reason that this person is made to build upon their imagination and explore that and heal that heal their internal world through the imagination, with that Saturn Chiron conjunction in Pisces trine to Neptune and Scorpio. So they really did, although it might be difficult for them to get into like the healing natures of that energy, they set the chart up to do just that. Heal from that. Like they set up that Saturn Chiron conjunction in Pisces opposite his wills and ways of individuating himself through his routines in Virgo. So this probably played out like this person had unique ways of going about things, unique type of routines and patterns that like helped him physically, or he perceived to help him, right? And then there was like those authority type figures that said, no, you're delusional, that's not gonna work, that won't work, and then basically trying to steer his Mars into a different direction. Or I don't want to say steer, I want to say well, I guess you could say that, yeah, because he got that kite, that Pisces energy is trying to shoot that like a crossbow, you could say. That Pisces energy trying to shoot that Virgo out, like, no, make your they would be like, make your imagination about what you do this way, point it over here, so that way your routines and stuff could shoot this way. But he's like, no, I want to point it this way, I want these to be my routines, and I'm gonna shoot my imagination this way. But yeah, so like, damn, I forgot what I was saying before. Oh yeah, but he was like, he came in here to like re-nurture himself and like re-trust himself to point his own direction. And really, he knew he was gonna do that too with that sun on the North Node. Like he knew this was his way out, like through like that type of like inner trust with himself, and like having the ability to share that with people, and basically like show through his actions and the way he like presents his intellectual natures. And you know, everybody has intellectual natures, right? But not everybody is like intelligible. But cause and you could be smart about some dumb shit, bro. Yeah, like the ways in which he like philosophizes about things, like his reasonings for the way he's thinking, in correlation to like the many different opinions that are out there, right? So he would like be weighing them with that Libra moon, the many different opinions that are out there, make up like a broad philosophical view, like compiling all that information together. Jupiter in detriment to Gemini, Jupiter in detriment in Gemini, conjuncting Mercury. So it's really not a detriment. It's just like a different type of like coagulation of information. That's what I mean. That's basically all Jupiter is, a coagulation of information. But well, that's really all anything is. But anyways, yeah, through the way he formulates his mind and like portraying all the facts and like all the different talking points he has came across through exploring his own like faith and imaginative and emotional natures, and like pushing that out to people and like really embodying that energy with his sun, like leads him to be on like his evolutionary path, which could be uncomfortable for him due to the North Node being there. So like it's something he has to gain comfortability with. And I said that Sagittarius house is empty, right? But that South Node is in there. Another piece to the puzzle. That South Node in Sagittarius, it might be a thing where this person in the past life probably had like a type of philosophical nature, a type of vision in which they enacted on in life, that they may have to revisit this life. And like the revisitation happens through the relaying of their dreams, the imagination, their visions for life, relaying that to people, seeing what comes back to them based off of that relation, and not taking what's being brought to that person as fact, so to say, but as like an indication of like okay, this is like somebody had told me this before, and I'm gonna say it now so this thought doesn't come from me. But like whenever like people would like come to you and like tell you about yourself, really it's like they're not really telling you about you, they're telling you about how you're like coming out, so to say. But even then, like that isn't always the case, because they could just be taking you the wrong way, right? So it would be like through that play of energy of like seeing what is like reflected back to him, and like seeing how other people think, he is able to like construct and like refigure out his own type of internal natures, and how he should construct his own imagination and faiths and beliefs and visions for the future, and visions about his emotions and how he should relate to them, and like the types of imagination he like ponders on and correlates to and builds upon with the emotions. Yeah, my bad, that might have been a word vomit, but like basically like the types of imagination he derives out of his emotions, and like derives out of his like ways of structuring himself, meaning structuring himself, meaning his internal world. I'm getting like a checks and balance system, right? Even more so with that Libra moon. I wasn't even thinking about that when I said that. But I was thinking about the Virgo energy and the Gemini energy being like the fact checkers of the zodiac, right? So through all that fact checking, this person is able to like construct their internal worlds for like their own benefit, right? It could take some learning to like get that right for the person, and like learning how to not consider the external and like what the people say, how other people structure themselves. Like it may take this person a little bit to like not hold so much weight, like not not place so much weight on the external, right? Y'all get what I'm saying? Like not place so much weight on the external, and like learning how to use the external for the internal, right? Yeah. And like basically construct up his own ways of being to in whatever most prosperous way he would so choose to. But it's gonna have to be a little crazy with that Venus sextile to Uranus and that Uranus conjunct Pluto and Mars, bro. Like he's gonna have to be crazy. And then that Mercury conjunct Jupiter too, like he's gonna be crazy, bro. Like he wants to like dibble and dabble in like different ways of thinking. He wants to go explore over here. You know, I was saying earlier, this dude's like curious type. Like he wants to see what's going on, bro. Like he wants to know what's going on down the street. And then that Libra moon makes him like even more apt to do that, having that like emotional natures that are based upon like a type of like connection, or like wanting to connect on like a getting to know you type basis, on like contractual agreements. And when I say contractual, that doesn't mean like not always like business type, just like, okay, we're cool like this, we can keep it like this, you know? Like don't try to like get too crazy with me, like stay at this level, right? But he'd be the one pushing the crazy, bro. Yeah, and then that Mars square to Mercury and Jupiter and the Sun, his deep rooted angers would be brought up to the surface and like be very hot, be very potent, like think of like a, I don't know, like a tomato soup bubbling up, cooking up in a cauldron. Like that would be like his anger, like bubbling up and things like that. Whenever there would be like the sort of authoritarian type figures, father type figures, Saturnian type figures, imposing their belief system, Pisces, on to his routines, Virgo, and the way he bees, the way he routines, the way he lives, but the way he lives, but yeah, through that process, with that Mars Pluto Uranus square to Jupiter Mercury North Node Sun, it's like a type of like tenacity, like he has to show his aggression, maybe through his words, right? Most likely through his words. With that Gemini, so it would come out like a back talk type of energy, like talking back type of energy. Yeah, his clapback's probably crazy, bro. He probably roast somebody for real. Rotisserie. Oh yeah, that was gonna say. Whenever like they impose on his like routines and like his ways of living, like he would like be inclined to and have like an inattention to like push back and then be like, no, fuck, like you know, that type of energy. Like say something back, based upon like him being imposed and him like having like the feeling like his intellect is being like pushed up against and like rubbed the wrong way, and also his beliefs and the way in which he like creates morals for himself. He feels that is being like pushed upon. They're pressing his buttons on his morality. They're pressing his buttons on his intellectual natures. They're pressing his buttons on his philosophical natures. They're pressing his buttons on his identity. But then this would like lead to what I was talking about earlier, of like learning that the things that people like bring to you, like assumptions about you, or just like just thoughts about you, or like thoughts about thoughts you have, basically like people checking you kind of energy. And it doesn't always have to be negative, right? Somebody could like care about you and be like, hey bro, I don't think you should be doing that, you know? But yeah, so it's like learning that everybody that comes to you like that isn't necessarily checking you in terms of like being negative or whatever. Like it could be people that care about you that do that. And learning that, okay, this person is caring about me. I don't have to bum rush them or like throw all my anger energy onto them, right? They're just pinpointing out something I may not have been aware of. And even if I am aware of it, I don't like. I mean, hey, maybe it does give you the right to yell at them or something, or get mad at them, get angry at them. But maybe it doesn't have to. That Pisces Virgo axis does deal with like service and like compassion energies. Pisces and Virgo both having to learn compassion, but for different reasons though, because the Pisces energy has to learn compassion for others in a healthy manner, while Virgo energy has to learn compassion for themselves in order to relate it to others. So they're both kind of doing the same thing, but it's a little differently because like Pisces is more so like correlated to like connection, whereas Virgo does favor connection as well, but more so not in the emotional labor sense, but more so in like the servitude sense. I will do this for you, right? I will fold your clothes. I will cook you something. I will make sure your money's straight. I will make sure the house is clean, right? Whereas Pisces is more of like the emotional nurturance of like, hey, I'll be for you, here for you. Need an event? I'll be the ear that listens. But Pisces also carries on that Virgo energy as well in terms of like service and like doing things for people. But it's more so for the sense of uh like a higher calling. Like the Pisces might think like God told them to do it, whereas Virgo would be like, this is the right thing to do just because it is, right? But Pisces would be like, God is telling me to do this. But you know, like Virgo will come up with the reason that they're in service and being compassionate for somebody for like just based on the connection and like almost like a telekinesis type of thing where like since we are connected, linked up in the mind, Virgo, Mercury, it's like I will take care of you because there's a type of link that is formed between us, right? Because the Earth version of Mercury. So it's like we can still be flexible, move around, be fluid, Mercury, be moving all around, but it's like the branch that sways, the leaf that sways, right? The leaf that falls off, right? It breaks away from the tree, yes, but it falls to the ground. What does it do? Becomes nutrients for the same tree, right? Or a different tree. But then even if it goes to a different tree, it's still like all connected to each other, right? So it's like that Virgo type of connection where it's like if it's just looked upon on the physical sense, it's just that physical sense, but it's really carries that deep Piscean nature of like it's all connected type of energy. But yeah, so that's how like the Virgo part plays out. But then Pisces is like I was saying before, like they feel like God is calling them to do something, or like they always think of like there's like a higher meaning for like whatever is they feel is right to do. So it's like I've heard too before, like once you get to like the last, like I think like Aquarius and Pisces, you start getting to like the God complex type of things, or it might be like the last four, Sagittarius to Pisces, but that's just like based upon like the awareness level, but that's not always necessarily a good thing. Like you could be aware of a bunch of stuff, but like I mean like you that's just it. You just aware of it, you know. Like what are you doing with it? Yeah, because like the types of like meanings and reasons Pisces would be placing on to like why they're in like that servitude, why they are being compassionate, that like accumulation of awareness type of thing. Like they feel like they're not wrong in feeling this, what I'm about to say, but they do feel it probably. It's like they feel like everything has been leading up to that scenario for them to do that. Like, oh, all this has happened in my life. God has done all this for me. So this one moment could happen. And I have to do this because God is telling me to do this for you. Or God is telling me to do this to you. You know? But yeah, so it's like yeah, I went off on this whole tangent. I forgot my point. But Yeah, so it's like learning that type of like service energy and like being compassionate, seeing how to incorporate that into like a broad philosophical worldview and intellectualize that worldview into different subsections while embodying that energy through the actions that he carries out and using everything he's been through as a types of guide for the ways in which he structures his own internal world of creating imaginations based upon his emotions and things like that. Yeah, because the emotions come from like relating energy, and the relating energy is like something that happens on every level of life, not just between people. It's between you and your drink, it's between you and your notepad, it's between you and your body, it's between you and your feelings, you and your thoughts. So it's like learning about that and programming that would be very healing for him with that Chiron and Pisces. But yeah, I've been on a Chiron kick today because of that lecture I went to earlier. But so that kind of spilled over into this reading, as I was talking about before, with like the same similar aspect popping up. But yeah, I already been talking for 56 minutes, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna let it stop right here. Be on the lookout for a blog coming up. I'm about to get on this website called Buy Me a Coffee. I already got like one blog post written up. I got an idea for another one, and just going through this experience of reading this natal chart and seeing these aspects come up 2 times today, it already gives me another talking point to get into that natal chart. I mean, to get into that blog post. But yeah, be on the lookout for that, and I'll have my consultation services open soon. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Have a good day.